Hello, and welcome to Savanta's Fast Class. I'm Sarah, a CRM managing consultant, and today we're talking about how your organization will assign and access and control security within Dynamics 365 CRM apps. When it comes to assigning security permissions, there are three main ways to do so, which are business units, security roles, and field level security. Each offer you really granular abilities to provide and restrict access to view and do different things within your system. So the bulk of this conversation today is going to be about security roles, but we're going to have to talk a little bit about business units to understand those a little bit better. And finally, we're going to chat about what field level security is. And we're going to go ahead and get started. As always, you can go ahead and drop your questions in the chat. My team is here to answer them as we walk through CRM security. So our journey today is going to start in the Power Platform Admin Center. So you can get here by typing in admin.powerplatform.microsoft.com. This is an admin center for CRM. So you'll have to be assigned a CRM admin security to get into here. So we're going to go ahead and click on the environments to find our CRM environment. This is mine here. This is a trial environment of CRM. To go ahead and start, we're going to look at our business units. So let's get into the settings. So we can go ahead and click into this environment to view the settings for the environment. So right up at the top, you'll see a button to launch the settings. And this is going to be, all your CRM, settings and security. And some of you might be used to kind of navigating into the classic, admin settings in CRM right out of the CRM apps. But this is going to be the new place for you to manage that. And you'll see that this is still kind of a hybrid between the new admin center and the old, settings. So I think business units is a good example of that. So business units are going to be found underneath users and permissions here. So let's go ahead and open that up. So this is opening us up into the older interface here where we can do the business units for our organization. So let's start with, what are, business units? So business units are a way, to divide data with strict walls in CRM. So scenarios for this are when you have two, separate companies where you want to keep, records completely different or separated from each other. And, for example, maybe you start up a new company, but you want to keep, your same customizations for this new company. In that case, you don't want to spin up a brand new instance. You'll want to implement business units. Business units are also allow you to do other things, such as you can, for example, share your accounts and contact database, but keep your leads and opportunities completely separate for the two. So there's a lot that you can do with those. Whenever you have your CRM instance is going to have a base, business unit that gets created as a part, of the application. This is the base unit for my trial, or my base business unit for my trial environment here. But I can go ahead and add a new one. And that's just, adding with this new button here. And so if I call one business A, I always have to have a parent business unit, and that's going to be my primary in this example. So we'll go ahead and add a new one for business A, or business B, rather. All right, now I have two, business units here for each of my different companies. So they're pretty easy to create. And the next step is to assign your users into the business units. So we won't go through that here today, but I just want you to know, how easy this is to actually add, and you can again assign, users pretty easily as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at our users, and we'll assign one. So in my environment, I have a couple of users. I have an admin user, and I have a regular user. You can see that my user is assigned the parent business unit. But right here, I can go ahead and change the business unit for Rose. And maybe I want my new user or Rose to be a part of business unit A. So I'll go ahead and select business unit A here. All right, so after I refresh my page, I can see that Rose is now assigned business unit A. So it's pretty easy to create business units and to assign users into the business unit. But the actual security for business unit is actually going to be set within the security roles. So let's go ahead and dive into those. So to do so, we're going to go back into the settings again. So security roles are going to again be accessed underneath settings and the users and permissions area here in the admin center. So we can go ahead and click on security roles. And that's going to open up our list of security roles here. So the security roles that you're going to see in your environment are going to depend on the CRM module that you have installed. For example, if you have sales installed, you're going to see these sales security roles, which you can see here. So we're going to take a look at the sales roles, to get an idea of what security roles kind of look like and what the kind of different levels of access are when you kind of get into the details. So let's go ahead and take a look at the salesperson security role. So again, these are, come with sales. So we have a salesperson, sales manager. Salesperson is going to be, have a lower, security level than a manager would. So to open it up, we're just going to go ahead and click on it. When this page loads, what you're going to see is, different, sections of different tables that are grouped to give access to, different components in CRM. So there's going to be some familiar ones, that you, kind of think of all the time, such as your account table or your contact table. And then there's going to be others, that you might not, know. So for example, I'm not exactly sure what this one is offhand, but there are some backend, tables that you need access to in CRM to kind of get, some of these security pieces to work. So let's go ahead and take a look at, the account table, for example. So I'm just going to go ahead and highlight it here so you can kind of see, what some of the details are a little bit more clearly. So first of all, we have, what the table name is, and then what the name here is the backend, CRM database name. And then the next column here is going to be record ownership. So what this means is that these, accounts can be owned by either users or teams in CRM. And then after that, we're going to see our different levels that are kind of giving access to the account table. So this is where, the business units are going to come into play. So you might need, if you implement business units, you might need to come into the security roles and, dial up or down, the different access levels, for whatever you're trying to accomplish. For example, right now, it's saying that I can create, I can create account records, but I can also read account records that are across the whole organization. And what that means is I can read accounts and, account records for every business unit. But maybe I have a scenario where I want to completely wall off my accounts between my business unit. And in that case, I would need to dial that down. So we have some different options here, when we expand our list here. So we have user, we have parent-child business unit, we have organization, we have business unit, and we have none. So none is going to say, I can't read any account data, so I wouldn't even see accounts at all if I logged into CRM. So we don't want to do that. But if I wanted to wall it off, based off a business unit, I could choose either business unit, or if I have a more complex business unit set up where I have parent and child, I could choose parent and child business unit as well. Our business unit setup, was pretty simple. So we would just use regular business unit level here. And changing that would wall off, what each user in each different business unit could see. So if I were in business unit A, I wouldn't be able to see any records from business unit, any account records from business unit B. And if I was in business unit B, I wouldn't be able to read any of the account records from business unit A. So, so implementing business unit is a little bit more, involved than it is just creating the business unit and assigning those out to users. All right, so we have our create, our read, and then we also have our edit privileges as well. We also have a delete level. So, for example, deleting an account record can be pretty bad in CRM, especially when it's an established account that you are always working with all the time. So maybe we want to just not allow users to delete account records at all. We could do that by setting this to none, for example. And then our append to privileges are going to be when we are adding relationships in CRM. So whether we're adding an account as a relationship, we're going to need that, such as, kind of creating an opportunity. We'll need the append and the append to rights. So again, if we only want to, be able to open an opportunity for a specific business unit and link it up to an account, again, we would want to change that down, to business unit level. And in fact, if we wanted to implement business units, we might want to completely wall everything off. We probably would want to change, most of these, over to the business unit level. All right, so that's, how easy it is to kind of change, the different levels, that you're kind of giving access to in the different tables. Again, the most challenging piece of working with security roles is, some of the other, tables that you might not, recognize, and that might be because you just don't use them. So here we're in, this core records area. This is containing, things like our accounts, all of our, activities, our, connection roles, if we're wanting to, create, stakeholders on our opportunities, that sort of thing. You'll see here. We also have an area for custom tables. So any, custom table that you create as a part of your CRM will show up in the custom table section. Our business process flow, section is going to contain those business process flows, that we can add up to our opportunities. For example, business management is going to be, hey, I want to allow people to, change things like, business units, what currency I'm using. Mailbox is your CRM mailbox, that you hook up to your Outlook integration. So there's a lot of very granular access, that you can set within, every, kind of table in CRM. All right. In addition to the tables, we also have some miscellaneous kind of privileges that we can also control for our users. So we'll go ahead and change our modifications we made to the account table. And then if we come into the miscellaneous privileges, that's going to be, some of those other functionalities in CRM that aren't like table specific. For example, if I want to allow my users to run workflows, I have to come in here and make sure that I set that so that they can run workflows. Privacy related privileges. These are going to be more data sensitive pieces. For example, do I want to allow my users to export data out of CRM from the list? All right, so this is our kind of what the security roles kind of look like in the new admin center. Security roles can still be accessed with the old settings as well. So here are our security roles that are in the legacy settings. So if I open up the salesperson role, for example, you'll see that the window looks a little bit different, but it is the same. So here's our role. We're going to, kind of look at the core record. So again, here is the, account, piece that we just looked at. Instead of seeing the different images, you're just going to see the little circles that are shown here down in a legend here in this window. So whether you're using the new editor or the old editor, the functionality is going to be exactly the same. All right, so a couple of things to note about security roles. You have to assign your users at least one security role for them to get into CRM at all. So how do you actually assign the security role? That's actually going to come, from the user area. So if I go back into my settings and I go ahead and click into my users, this is where I would actually assign those security roles out. So when I click on this user, I'm going to see some different buttons that show up up at the top. So I can do some diagnostic checks on my user, but what we're going to look at here is managing our security roles. Again, this is the same place where we assigned our business unit out to rows as well. So you can assign as many, business or as many security roles as you want to users. So security roles are going to be additive in nature. So if I assign, a salesperson, and I also, assigned, a customer service, role. My user is going to be both enabled for, our sales entities as well as customer service entities. So we'll just go ahead and, assign the salesperson role out to rows. So I just select it from my list and I go ahead and save it. Now, if I go in and manage security roles, I would come down here and I would see that this one is selected. And that's how I'm able to tell, what security roles my users are assigned in CRM. What we recommend is, again, there's all these additional, kind of back end, tables, in CRM that you might not think about, kind of setting privileges for. So in that, to make your life a whole lot more simple, what you really should do is you should copy, one of the out of the box, sales roles. So the most basic, role is this basic user, security role. So this can be a good, starting place if you really want to start more from scratch, but still give them a lot of the default, back end, kind of functionality. But if you are, a salesperson, or you're trying to implement a custom salesperson role, you can also just copy, the default security roles as well. So if we go ahead and, go ahead and select the role that we want to copy here, we can go ahead and hit copy. And now we can create a custom, security role, for our organization, without having to edit the base security. So this is also really nice because you can kind of give it whatever name you want to. So, since I was using business A, I will go ahead and use business A salesperson to illustrate this. And we can just go ahead and copy that. This allows you, to kind of look at your security roles and you can kind of tell, which security, roles your organization is actually using, within the exhaustive list of everything that comes through packaged with the application. And editing this is going to work, exactly, the same as if we were editing one of the base ones as well. The next, piece that we want to talk about today is, what field level security is in CRM. So, while, business units are going to allow us to do things like separate, records, between, different business units, or business units are going to allow us to separate records, between the different businesses. Security roles are going to give us access, to the data in CRM, and they're going to tell CRM, what rights and what I can do with, the records in CRM, and also some of those additional functionalities such as exporting data. Security roles are going to be our field level security is going to be, access to field level data, within the tables. So just like, where we're reviewing, business units and where we're reviewing security roles, we would also find our column security profiles here as well. So, so these are, the different profiles, but if you want to implement this, you actually have to, tell the column to be enabled for field level security. So to do that, we're going to go into the new make.powerapps.com editor. And we're going to select our environment here of the top right corner to be our CRM environment. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and find the default solution. And so what that is that default solution is going to be all your customizations in one place. And you'll just go ahead and find the solution list and search for default. All right, here it is. And now we're going to go ahead and edit it. So this is going to be all of our, customizations in CRM, which includes, it's going to include our tables, our processes, our business process flows, etc. So let's go ahead and say that, we don't want just anybody to set, the primary contact on the account record. That is only one of those things that's going to be, done by people who know, how to set that correctly. So to do that, we're going to go ahead and we are going to find the account table. And we're going to find our primary contact field, which shows up under columns. All right, so here it is. Now, if I go ahead and click on that column, under the advanced options, there's going to be a checkbox here to enable it for security, column level security. So once I go ahead and check that, I will just go ahead and save the record or save the column. All right. So once that's saved, now that's going to be available for me to set this up. You have to create two profiles, one to give access to edit it in our example, and another to give that read-only access to the whole organization. All right, so in conclusion, security roles, business units, and field level security are going to be the main ways to control access to your apps and your data. They can also use some really granular control, who has access to what, and you can customize these security roles, to implement whatever access that you need out of CRM. So it's a good idea, before implementing security roles to kind of sit down and think about what kind of, level access that you want or that you need or that you're trying to achieve. And then always keep in mind, that even though you have something set in stone, you can always kind of come back and, adjust them, as your needs kind of change over time. It's also best to follow the least privilege approach by assigning only access to users and what they absolutely need, and then provide that additional access as those cases arise. This is going to allow you to keep a tight hold over your users' access and your general system security. So if you have any questions about, what's going on with your security, or if you need some help, setting up some more regulated security roles, if you want to implement a certain security model, you can go ahead and reach out to us. We're happy to help with that. So I'd just like to thank you all for joining us today. And as always, you can, we'll be back next week, same time, same place. And we'll continue our discussion of real-time marketing within the D365 marketing app. Thanks again for joining us.